Hi all, this is Max from ZeroMax.com. Anyway, today I'm going to show you how to make Korean rice wine at home. It has about 16% alcohol. You can mix it with a little bit of water if you want to light. That's what Koreans do usually, mix it with almost half water to make it about 6-7%. Anyway, Korean rice wine, for those of you who don't know, it's called Makkoli in Korean, Makkoli. Anyway, it's very similar to Japanese unfiltered sake, but the one we're making right now is going to be very fresh. It actually has live yeast. And did you know that Korean Makkoli, if you compare it with the same amount with yogurt, it has 100 times more good bacteria than yogurt. And Koreans have been making this Makkoli for thousands of years, and most Asian countries have their own rice wine, which is very similar. But I'm going to show you the Korean way. It's very simple to make. You can make it at home. You just need the right equipment, and you'll need some rice. So some sweet rice, for the one I'm making. So let's go over all the ingredients we need and equipment. It's going to take us about 3 to 4 days, maybe 5 days, to make this rice wine. So let's go over the equipment. So the very first thing you'll need is some sweet rice. I've got sweet rice, Korean sweet rice. Let me show you what this looks like. You can use regular rice too, but this makes it sweeter. Well, it's smaller than regular rice, and it's great for this. And you will also need one of the most important ingredients. It's some yeast. This is basically what do you call it? It's mill yeast. Yes, that's what it is. Mill yeast. And also you'll need a little bit of regular yeast you can buy at local groceries. For this you can also make the yeast, but I highly suggest you buy it. Probably best to get it at Green Mart because they sell it, but other people might sell it too. So you need that. That's one of the most important ingredients. And also you need a big big bowl to clean the rice, because it's got to be super clean. We're going to clean it like 30 times. And also you need some kind of steamer. I've just got my steamer here, Korean steamer. Any steamer will do. So I've got this, and then actually I'm not using this. I'm using the bamboo nail. I used to use the other one. Also you need some kind of steaming cloth, and make sure when you steam all this equipment, you put it in hot water, boil it, because you want it super clean. And also I made my own filter. This is at the end out of t-shirt. Also you steam this and boil it before you use it, because you want it super clean. And that's for the boiling part. And you'll need something to put your rice wine, the rice and the yeast, so it can ferment, right? And also you'll want to keep it about 80 to 83 degrees for 3 straight days. So you'll need to, what people use is electric warmers, put it around. And also you have to keep checking temperature. So I bought one of these infrared temperature checkers. You can even check the temperature of your ears. It says 89.9. Anyway, you need this because the temperature is like, the king of making rice wine. And also, if you don't have an electric warmer, I actually have a slow cooker. So what I did is I put a bunch of cloves in there, and then I put some plates because it's too hot, to bring it to about 83 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's how I keep it warm, even though it's in the winter. But if you live in like a really warm, areas like where the temperature is about 80 to 85 degrees, that's perfect. You can just leave that, in your room, and just let it ferment. And also keep it away from the sun. Like my kitchen has no sunlight pretty much, so I'm not worried about that. That's pretty much it. So let's go on make it. So the first part of making rice wine is you'll clean the rice. So you might want to start with very small, just a handful or two, and make like a couple cups until you get good at it. But I got pretty good, so I can make a whole big batch at a time. So I'm just gonna put about 4 to 5 cups. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, that should fit the bowl that I made earlier. I think a little bit more. So pour that in, and get rid of this. And then you'll want to start filling it with water and gently just go around, okay? Gently go around. And gently go around a couple times. And then you're going to drain it. Look at all that stuff coming out, right? You don't want that. You want it almost until it's pure. So I'm going to keep gently rubbing around and fill it, rub it around a couple times. And I'm going to do this for about 30 times. So I'll be back after I do it 30 times. So I did about 30 times. Let me just show you. So now it's pretty much clear. The only stuff I get is clear. So I'm just gonna drain this, and this time I'm gonna just filter it, put in some nice water. I mean, you can also do this whole process with filtered water, but that's gonna take such a long time. And that's how they make, the rice wine at the companies. They use like, fresh spring water. It's a lot of water wasting, but it doesn't matter. And if you get a pretty clear, just a little fog there, that's fine. I did it about 20 times. I got tired. A bit longer. And just fill it up. Maybe, that much. And then now we're gonna set it down. Set it down so the water absorbs. We're gonna set it down. About 3 hours should do. You can even leave it on, for like the whole night. 6 to 9 hours. That's fine too. The more the better, but we don't have to put it for hella long. So I'm just gonna put this away for three hours, and we'll be back. So since I need all my equipment clean, so I even put the steamer. And as you can see, I'm steaming all my the steamer equipment, cloth, because you don't want it tainted. So I'm just steaming for about 20 minutes, and it should be all good to go. Just let it cool down, and this should be all clean, ready to go. Hi all folks, so I actually let it go about 6 hours because I was sleeping. So this morning I got up and I can drain the water. And I'm gonna put it drained for about an hour. Just let it sit. So I'm gonna just put it. I've got this steamer ready. And I got some water in there, and also I'm just gonna put the rice over it, alright, and just let it sit for about an hour, and after that I'm gonna start steaming it. All this in here. And we'll get all of it in here. And we'll get it nicely oriented. And close this up a little bit. And this is ready for steam, but I just gotta wait about an hour. And I've got the water ready, and I just gotta fire it on. So we'll be back after about an hour. Hi all folks, so I've got the steamer rolling here. Got the bamboo and just a little bit of water. And I've got the rice in here. It's been about an hour after well actually a little bit over. But basically bring it to a boil, and then you can turn the heat down. And then depending on how much rice you're trying to steam, this is actually the same as making Thai sticky rice. If you know how to make that, then I won't have to tell you how, but you'll probably want to steam it until the rice is done. It's going to take probably about half an hour to an hour. Probably I put a lot of rice in this one, so it'll take me an hour. And maybe every 15 minutes you can open it up and use a spoon to swirl it around a little bit so it'll cook more evenly. Anyway, we'll be back after this rice is done, and we're almost done, ready to ferment. So while the rice is steaming, we're gonna actually, when you get the mill yeast, it's not totally grinded, and you want to get it into the smallest pieces possible. So what I use is my coffee grinder right here. And how much yeast do you need? You need about maybe 5% of the whole rice. You know, I just kind of do it with feel. I don't actually use any measuring cups. That's how Koreans do it when they make, you know, rice and cooking, whatever. So I'm gonna grind this up real quick. That way I'll have grind it up. And if you grind it really well, it's gonna blend with the rice really well. That's the whole point. And if you don't grind it, it's not gonna blend as well. And you don't want to use too much yeast, then it's gonna make your rice wine too sour. So just enough is enough, you know. You can, every time you make it, you can experiment with it. And then I'll put this away, right? Since I have a lot of rice, I might just need just a little bit more. So let me get a little bit more. I think that should do. Right, so coffee grinder works really well. I highly recommend it. Next, we're gonna put some dry yeast. So let me put this on top here. You see here? There we go. And I'm gonna just put just a tiny bit, like half a teaspoon. You know? All right, and that mix is ready to go. We're gonna actually put some water in it to let it kind of blend into the water. So let's go do that. So I'm just gonna use some of this filtered water, and then just fill it enough so I get a nice little thicky paste. And then I'm gonna take a spoon. I'm just gonna let it work in there. And the yeast actually should start kind of getting ready for the actual fermentation process with the rice to make our rice wine. But that's about perfect amount. Just swirl a little bit and then put it aside. Right? So we're ready with that. Hi all folks, so I'm gonna get where I'm gonna put the rice wine to ferment, this glass jar. Glass jar works probably the best. Don't use any kind of metal because it can have some kind of reaction while you ferment. Also, the best is to use a Korean clay pot. It looks like this. Let me show you. It looks like this. And this is actually the smaller version, but they have the bigger version you can buy at the Korean market. And basically what that does is that the air actually can go through the clay and makes it breathe better, so you can get the ultimate Korean rice wine. But since, you know, I don't have room for it, my kitchen is small, I'll just stick with this glass jar. And you'll want to make sure to clean it really well, because the moment you get any kind of bacteria in there, the moment you're going to start growing fungus instead of rice wine. And that could potentially be very hazardous for your health also. And let me give you a little tip also. After you, let's say, I cleaned this, so I'm just going to clean it again. Just one more time. So just clean it really well. Make sure there's no, nothing in there. And here's one trick Koreans use. We use soju, which is about 16% alcohol, and we just put a little bit in there, right? Since it can disinfect. You can use vodka too. And what you do is you swirl it around a little bit, so you get all the points, right? Swirl it around, and then just leave it upside down until you need to use it, and you're all ready to go with a disinfected jar. Very important. Everything you do has to be very clean. You know, otherwise you'll start growing fungus, and you won't be able to. You'll have to start over. The first time I made rice wine, it took me. First 2 times I grew fungus. And after the third time, I start making really good rice wine. So we'll be back after the steamed rice is done. Hi all folks. So the rice has been steaming for about 20 minutes. So I'm just gonna go in here and check if it's done or not. It's not done. You see it's still too white. It should turn kind of a little bit yellow, and on the side it has. So I'm just going to mix it up, because when you use a lot of rice, you'll want to distribute the steam a little bit. So let's do this, and then we'll steam it for another 15 minutes. Should be all done. And we should be ready to mix it with yeast for our ultimate best Korean rice wine. A lot of this is almost done, just there's a lot of spots, so we're going to just mix it up so the uncooked spots get cooked a bit faster. And you can see there's a lot of work involved in making rice wine, but the greatest part is that you can actually make it at home, and it's going to be very fresh and very, very good, authentic. So I'm going to close this up. Give it another 15 minutes, and we will be back. Oh yeah. Hi folks, so it's been another 20 minutes, and I think it's pretty much done, yes. See how it's all a little bit yellow? What we're going to do is we're just going to leave it open and turn it off. And some people like to lay it on like flat so it cools down quicker. That's fine, but I just leave it here. And then later we're just going to mix it with the yeast and then put it in the our jar with some water, and that's about it. So we'll be back after it cools. Should take another 30 minutes or so. So while my rice is cooling down, I'm going to use some filtered water. You use spring water, works better. I'm just going to fill about halfway. That's about the amount of water we'll need. So fill about maybe 1/3 or halfway. And we can always add more water later. So fill it up about halfway. And we should be ready once that rice cools down. Mix it with yeast and it should be good. And one of the important things is that you don't want to mix yeast with hot rice. And what that happens is it'll kill the yeast. That's what I did my first time I made Korean rice wine. And basically you'll develop fungus instead of rice wine. So almost halfway there. Just a little bit before halfway, should be about perfect, right about there. So I'm gonna lay this aside for now, and we'll be back after the rice cools down, so we can start fermenting. Hi y'all folks, so this is pretty much done. When steam, stops giving off, and you got a pretty near room temperature rice, then we're gonna start mixing it with yeast. So let's go do that. Alright y'all folks, so I'm just gonna put all the rice in here and start mixing it with the yeast. Just make sure it's super clean, which it is. And put the rest of this rice in there. And we just gotta mix it with some yeast, and then put it in our jar, and it should be all ready to go. So I'm just trying to get all this rice in there. Actually, it might be too much rice, but it's alright. So, rice in there. It's all pretty much cooled. Near room temperature. It can be a little bit warmer than that. Just don't do it with when it's too hot. So now we're gonna mix it with all the yeast we made earlier. So let me just spread this all over everywhere. Alright. So all this yeast. And then all we gotta do is mix it. Mix it really well. Should be pretty ready to go. Alright. Not want to get you can do it with your hand. Get some kind of plastic gloves. Do it. I just like using a stick. Let's see. This one's almost breaking. It's hard. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just get a nice balanced mix of the yeast and the rice, and they're gonna mix anyways in the water later. Let's try to do your best. So we're just gonna break this. Boom, 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 boom. Alright. More yeast in there. So I'm just going to use my hand, clean my hands real quick. My hands are pretty clean, so should be fine. We'll just mix it up really well. Alright? And that should be enough yeast and everything. Alright. So you got a good mix. We're all ready to go. That should be good enough. Doesn't have to be perfect. So we're gonna go get our jar real quick that we filled with water earlier, and we're slowly gonna fill it with this mix of rice and yeast we made earlier. We made just now. Just fill it all up. Right. We're going to have some really good rice wine, I think. Oops. Mix that as well. So that should be actually about perfect amount. You see the water almost filling up. That's perfect. You want about maybe 1/3 water, and the rest like this. And next, we're just gonna stir it up a little bit, just get a nice mix going, and it's pretty much ready to go. These little pieces. See how it's kind of getting cloudy? Can you see that? All right. Just mix it up, and you know, every day for the next couple days, you might want to mix it up once a day at least, because they're gonna go all get a little bit sticky, so you want to keep it loose. So that's pretty much good right there. And we're gonna have to wrap a thin layer of some kind of cloth, but I just use paper towel. So you need something that breathes but keeps out the bugs, because this can be the fruit flies really love this stuff because it's making alcohol. So let me go get some paper towels. So you'll need some paper towels. Make sure you get some really long rubber bands. I'll fit over it. So I'm just gonna get my paper towels over here. Just cover over it so air can go through. And then, oops. If you get it wet, you're gonna have to start over, because you don't want to get it wet. So let me get another piece. I think actually it should be perfect. Let's get it. Just start with the bottom and try to get it right on there. And, let's get it nice and hot. All right. Actually, that's good enough right there. So we're ready to let it ferment. I'm gonna go put it on my slow cooker and put up the heat a little bit, and it should be ready in about 3 to 5 days. So I've got it on my slow cooker. Let me just hook up the power here. I don't think I've actually put power in with it. And my slow cooker is on at lowest setting, and I'm gonna check the temperature. It's actually 79.7, which is pretty good. I want to get it about 85 for the next 3 days. I don't want to go over like 90, then it'll become very sour. But I'm just gonna leave it on for tonight. It should be okay. The slow cooker doesn't go above 90, so tomorrow I might turn it off for a little bit, turn it back on when it cools off. But in 5 days it should start making some great Korean rice wine. And also what you want to do is keep checking every day and stir it, because all this rice can kind of rise up. And by day 2 or 3 you'll start hearing some actual fermentation. You'll hear this bubbles, like bubble, 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 bubble. Anyway, I'll have the video on that. Anyway, this is all ready to go. And we're done. So day 2 we're done. So we just gotta stir for a couple times with, disinfected, stir for the next maybe 3 days. Usually takes about 3 days, not much longer. So we'll be back. We'll check back tomorrow. So that's all, folks, for now. Hi, all, folks. So it's been about 12 hours. So I'm just gonna stir it with something clean. So just take it out, rubber band out. The towel out. See how it's all blown up? So you just gotta mix it up, because they need to be mixed real well. And it will start, although it's the rice looks like it's very full, it's actually gonna decrease when it starts making alcohol, and it'll be very fun because you'll hear all the sound bubbling up. So just doing this nice stirring job. Alright. And you can do this every 6 hours or so, you know. And once it starts fermenting for real, you don't have to do anything. But for the first couple days, it's good to get it nicely mixed, because it'll help it ferment better and mix better. So that's about good enough. And put this back on. That's a lot easier because it's set to form. And we're going to put it back on our slow cooker on top of it to maintain about 85 degrees of temperature. So we'll be back in another day or so. Check back. Hi all folks, so this is the third day, and I just stirred it again, and you should be able to hear the sound. Let me stir it and then put the microphone close. You should be able to hear something. So you should hear bubbling, and if you look here, you can see that there's a lot of bubbles going up. Well, there you go. And it's almost done, so maybe another day or two. It should stop bubbling, and then I can just get it through the filter and put it in the fridge for a couple days with a little bit of sugar, and it should be a nice carbonated rice wine. So day 3. Hi all folks, so after about 5 days, let me show you. Most of that stuff kind of disintegrated, which means the fermentation is complete. And there's a little bit up here, but you don't have to wait till everything just finishes. You can finish a little bit early, because even, you know, it's gonna keep fermenting even after you squeeze it out. So I've got a bottle, Pepsi bottle. This works really well because it's made for pressure, and also one of these things, and also a disinfected cloth. And we're gonna start dumping the rice wine, filtering out all the, you know, all the rice. Let me actually show you what the top of it looks like. So, whoops. So this is what it looks like. If you get fungus here, that means something went wrong. But as you can see, there's no fungus. It looks, you know, right here. And then let me mix it a little bit for you. And I think it's still fermenting a little bit. I don't know if you can hear it. No, it's almost done. When it's done fermenting, we're gonna squeeze it. So let me go back here, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna squeeze it out. So let me go clean my hands again, and just rinse your hands. You know, don't use disinfectants because the soap can get onto it while you do it. So I'm just gonna take a bowl and then put just enough so we can start filtering it. And probably get almost a bottle and a half of this Pepsi bottle. So this is the most fun part, I guess. And then once it fills up almost all the way, we're gonna squeeze and repeat the process. Throw away all the waste. But you get a nice kind of alcohol smell, a pure alcohol smell. That means it's, you know, done right, and there's no impurities. Some more. I'm gonna fill it up almost all the way. Right before all the way, I'm just no, it keeps going. So you can also filter it twice. I just did it once. It's unnecessary. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure it doesn't come out. Close up the top. Right? Right? And then slowly squeeze down. Right? And I'm just going to squeeze lightly. And now all the good rice wine is coming out. So, we're almost done here. And squeeze until all the juice is gone, and I usually just kind of twist it a little bit. That helps. Alright. Alright. And once this is done and you smell what's left over, it smells very much like alcohol because there's a lot of alcohol in it. It's about 16% alcohol content. What you should usually do is mix it with water because at 16% it's pretty strong. So that's about good enough. And I'm gonna go. I'll just show you what's inside. You'll see that the rice has really gotten. You know, it's almost gotten into a powder form because it's worked. So I'm gonna go throw this away, just rinse it real quick and do this process over again. So, and don't leave the leftovers, throw it away because if you leave it out, it's gonna actually get in contact with the air and it's gonna smell really bad the next day. So make sure you take care of the whatever is left over and you should be fine. Even the cloth you filter with, you want to boil it away right away. Otherwise, you know, it's going to smell really bad and you're not going to be able to use it again for the next time. So that's why we need to disinfect, and disinfect. And I even disinfected this bottle with some soju. So let me do the process again until we've squeezed everything out of this. And we're almost done here. So. 5. One more 6. And then we're going to do this again. Rub it together. Alright. And squeeze. Yeah, it's like squeezing cow or something. I've never squeezed cow before, but that's what my friend told me. Or it's squeezing like breast. So I got my second batch together, and I'm gonna do the third and fourth, and I'll be back since I don't want to bore you with my squeezing skills here. But we'll be back after I squeeze everything. Alright. Hello folks, so I've got about 2/3 way in here. Actually, let me take this out to show you. So I've got about 2/3 in here, and I'm gonna actually mix the rest of it with water because if you know, you can drink it. I mean, it's very harsh because there's a lot of alcohol content. It's supposed to be a drink that you can drink. You know, it's supposed to be sweet, and you know. So I'm gonna get some filtered water and start filling it all the way, almost all the way, with some fresh filtered water, just regular water. So I'm just gonna fill some of it with water. Because I don't want it too harsh. So fill it. That should be plenty because I need some room for sweets. So next what I'm going to do is I have this thing called oops, so I think my video got cut up there for a little bit. So what I did is I filled it up too much. You don't want it, you want to leave about a little bit of space so it can carbonate. If you don't like it carbonated, then don't put any sugar. But it, you know, you want it a little sweet. It's supposed to be a little sweet, you know. And I'm gonna actually just, carbonated already? No. I'm gonna actually put some of it in my next bottle because it's too filled. So I'll just put that much. No, actually I need some more room. That should be plenty right there. Leave some room for it to carbonate. And then what you will want to do is get some paper towels here. You clean it off. Dripping everywhere here. Clean it off. Alright, I'm going to shake it up. Make sure the sugar I put in earlier gets mixed really well. And then you just put it in your fridge for 3 days, about 2-3 days, and it'll be perfect. You can drink it like after a couple hours, but it's not going to taste as good. My recommendation is to actually wait about 2 to 3 days before you do it. And then I'm going to do the next batch, and I'll be back when it's all done. So I've filled it up almost a little bit more than half, and I'm going to fill the rest with some fresh water, because I don't want to get it too strong. I want to get the alcohol content about, you know, the commercial ones they're about 6%, but I want it about 9%. That's how I like it. Just a little bit stronger than usual. So actually that should be enough. And I'm gonna put some more, you know, this is actually called fructooligosaccharides. It's some kind of sugar alternative. This is actually what they use for the commercial Korean rice wine. And I'm just gonna put like maybe two nice squeezes. You don't have to put a lot because it's actually gonna produce sugar by itself. And I'll have to go find another bottle. And then I'm gonna just shake this and put it in the fridge for 3 days, and it should be ready to go. Hi all folks, so the rice wine is done now. So what we're gonna do, there's always gonna be stuff that's gonna settle down. And it's been actually a day, and it should be carbonated. Let's see if it makes that carbonated sound. There you go. You heard a little bit. So it'll carbonate a little bit more, but we can do a taste test real quick with some of this. This is the authentic rice wine drinker. This is the best one to drink out of. You can only get it in Korea. They have the similar ones here in the Korean market, but it's not the same. This one actually is really good. So that's it. And this one has about 9% alcohol. Let me taste it real quick. It tastes a bit not still ready, so I'm gonna put it in the fridge, but you can still drink it. Tastes not too bad. A little bit sour, so I might put a little bit more sugar, leave it in there for another couple of days, and it should carbonate a little bit more. So that's it. That's how you make Korean rice wine. See y'all later.